So, Craig McCracken really made some like great cartoons.
Eventually grew to like 13 or 14 during the last season, but we'll get to that later.
I realized that Alex Hirsch was in the works, really on the final 2 episodes of season 1.
Really?
I also liked how the show kind of made fun of the government in some kind of way, because remember the Earth Force Enforcement Force?
We're still advocating for hashtag New Deal for animation. Still advocating for that, and we're hoping for the best for the people who work on shows like this.
Like, we slowly shifting our narrative arc from season 1 to Joe to season 2. Because if that was the case, how come I did not notice that? How am I the only person who did not notice that?
So it takes place right after the events of season 2. So basically, Kid Cosmic and all of his friends are worshipped as heroes, and so when they return to Earth, they are tasked of being full-time superheroes and to like defeat all these supervillains and everything like that. And everything, just seems great at first. Like now that they're like world-renowned heroes and everything like that, but there are some secrets and some twists that the team did not expect to happen. There's more to more that's happening around them than it seems, and that the Earth that they're in might not actually be the real Earth and everything like that.
Oh.
This season shocked me the most. Like,
it did. Me too.
I was like, I just did not.
I was surprised how Netflix managed to pull out a trailer without spoiling anything. Like, they did not spoil anything.
Exactly. Like, it's the shortest season of the show, and yet with the trailer, like, you watched it in one way, but halfway into the show, it turned a complete 180.
Do you know what remind me of?
It's insane.
Well, do you know what remind me of? Well, it's not cartoon-wise, but it's music-wise. It remind me of Frank Ocean Blonde. The way I hear Frank Ocean's album Blonde. There's one first half of the album is more summerly, more good, but then the beat switch happens during nights, and it's a completely different narrative. You have to listen to this 1 hour album of Blonde. Like, it's tremendous. The beat switch in the middle, which is on the song Nights, the beat switch changes the entire narrative completely.
Do you think Craig's a fan of this, Frank Ocean?
I don't know.
Yeah, I noticed that too in a lot of the scenes in season 3. Is that it just felt really emotional and palpable. It was just it really hooked me into like the show and characters, even more so than the previous 2 seasons.
Okay, here's a bizarre way. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm looking at Kids Cosmic season 3. It really reminds me of Invincible in a way.
Really
interesting.
Let me explain. You watch Invincible, and it feels like another iteration of one of those Saturday morning cartoons where you see the heroes beating the bad guys, save the day. And, it feels good to see that once in a while. But later on, as you get to the other half of the episode, is arc disturbing, and you just don't know how to take it in that it happened.
Like, I only saw some clips of Invincible, and boy, those fight scenes were brutal. Like
same.
Brutal. Blood type of brutal.
That's not the comparison I'm making. Kid Cosmic, it's a family show, so there's not going to be blood and guts and all that. But what I'm saying is,
remember when Kid Cosmic was punching Phantos to a bloody pulp? Remember that part? I'm sorry.
No.
Think Phantos. But no. But yeah, in a way, it can be compared in that aspect. That's how it reminds me of Invincible, and that's what I love. Not just Marvel and DC, but in a way that we're so used to seeing heroes powerful and human sometimes, but it's the narrative change is what takes me by surprise. What I'm seeing for some of these superhero shows, not Marvel and DC, like I see the narrative change in there. Like we see it in one aspect, it's all heroic, bright, and it's something you'd applaud to if you were there. Like something, if you're in a crowd, to go, yay! But then the whole narrative changed. Like it turns your world upside down. If you've seen Invincible, I'm pretty sure you know what I mean. Or Kid Cosmic, it is just not real. It is literally a fantasy world.
It's fantasy world, like
that's one of the things I love about it too.
The plot twist was that Phantos actually sent him to a fantasy world, so it got me scared. That was literally the season that got me hating Phantos. So for the fact that he brought Kid's parents up, that was the moment where I hated Phantos.
Yeah, I loved after their heroes on Earth and everything like that, and after everything seems to be going swimmingly, Kid, Joe, and Papa G realize, oh wait, no, this has to all be fake. Why is everything going so well? And so the next time when they exit the whole fantasy world, they're back to where they were before then. They were floating in space and they were defeated by Phantos. I love stuff like that.
I was chatting with one of my followers, same as IO Squill, and they were talking about how Phantos' name kind of alludes to season 3. Could be partly from fantasy. That was something that I had not even thought about.
Wow, really?
And another thing I'd like to bring up, that his comparison to Marvel's Thanos, when he got the Reality Stone, he said, reality is often disappointing. And I'm like, oh my god, how did I not see that? And my favorite moment, and Lacey, you brought it up with Joe, that was my favorite part in that season, when they were doing charades to see what Joe was trying to tell them. It's the world. And Joe was doing the little X sign.
They were like, the world is excellent.
That was the letter X. You want eggs?
She's like, no, the world is fake. It's fake, you idiots.
This is a symbol for fake.
How does
the world is wrong? The world is incorrect.
And there was I did not get that. That an X is not for fake. How do you do charades for fake? Is that really how you do it? But my favorite moment after that, which to explain of how the world is fake, and nobody believed her at first. She was like, what's more likely? That this world is fake, or we're the world's greatest heroes?
Yeah, the whole, I liked what you said about, how, a lot of superhero, properties and, movies and TV shows outside of DC and, Marvel are kind of differentiating themselves, like Kid Cosmic and, Invincible. It reminds me of what I love about the original Incredibles is that the whole family dynamic of the superheroes and how they kind of define in each power of theirs defines their personality. Since Elastigirl is the mother, she has to get all her kids to do what they should. She has to stretch all her arms to make sure everyone is doing what they should be doing. And since Dash is really energetic, he's fast, and since Violet is very insecure and doesn't want any attention drawn to herself, that's what gives her the ability to make shields, all that kind of stuff.
And we come to find out that the world is all fake. There are no superheroes, super villains, mermen. or invisible dog.
Oh, I love that part where it's when when they ask Joe when a merman proposes to her, and her mom says, "What? I thought you always wanted to marry a merman."
And you know how we mentioned how it's mainly about Kid. Season 2, focus on Joe. Season 3, this is where we have a Papa G center type of feel in this season. And it was heartbreaking to see what Papa G did to keep this a secret from Kid just to make him happy. That's all he wants for him.
Yeah, I love that whole conflict is when Joe just says to Papa G, I mean, you can't keep this a secret from him forever. He's eventually going to find out, and are you just going to sugarcoat all this fake stuff from him, even if that's what he dreams of? I think Kid eventually later on, I think says something like, I'd rather actually lose to someone than be fake winning. Something like that, I think he said later on.
You know, seeing his parents again, that was heartbreaking. When Kid asked the fake parents, "Why didn't you come get me?" And the fake parents said, "Well, we needed worry." And that's when Papa G just snapped, "How dare you?" His parents would never say that to him. That was intense.
Yeah.
That was cold.
That was also the moment where I hated Phantos.
Do you think the local heroes knows anything about his mom when they trapped him in the fantasy world?
No.
Which is also my favorite part there. It's Phantos gets trapped in a portal, and then
the tables were
his mom
turned.
helps him with her ship. It's "You're finally helping me?"
Yeah,
and then when she gets back to Phantos, "Hey, wait a minute. My mom hates me."
Yeah, that's what I realized.
That was hilarious.
He knew that the world was fake.
Yeah.
So in fairness to Phantos, they don't know each other, so that's not on him. He just traps in the fantasy world. What happens in the fantasy world, that's on that.
It was kind of... I actually started getting emotional, actually.
I got so legit emotional after the episode 5.
Yeah, the moment where, Phantos, was kind of defeating all of the local heroes, and,
Erodius
he drops Papa G off a cliff, and and then he falls to the ground under a bunch of rocks, and the Kid gets flashbacks to to him when he was younger, and Papa G and stuff and stuff like that, and it started getting really emotional, and I started getting oh, I didn't think it could get any more emotional than there, but it did, because Papa G revealed that the 14th stone that everyone was looking for, he had all along, and that's what kept him alive. He had
it since he was a kid.
He had it since he was a kid, and that's why he was able to live for so long. He's 112 or 13.
He's 112, he said.
He's 112.
112. So it wasn't really just the duplicate that made him to survive. It was literally that healing stone. And Erodius was trying to look for that healing stone because it had an origin story.
One of the main final conflicts of the season is trying to stop Erodius from destroying the planet Earth and everything like that. The only solution is that Papa G has to use the 14th stone to destroy Erodius and
not destroy Erodius. If the 14th stone was part of Erodius.
But he has to use it to kind of stop Erodius from hitting the planet Earth, though, right?
Yeah,
yes.
Erodius swallowed Phantos whole because it didn't want to destroy Earth.
Yeah, and
Phantos
and Kid for a second thought he was going to lose him.
That was so intense there.
Yeah, because that's his only family left.
Next episode. And then the next episode, we see him in a wheelchair, now fully feeling 112.
Yeah, and the opening of episode 6 was kind of tricking you to that, because it opens with sad music, and you see a frame of Papa G and Kid, and they're going to a funeral and everything. It looks because they're dressing up all fancy and everyone looks so sad, and so it tricks you into thinking Papa G's dead, but he's not, because Papa G is just in a wheelchair. and they're all just kind of they're mourning the loss of the people who lost their lives to I guess it was the I guess when the
world that Erodius has destroyed.
Yeah. Those are the lives that everyone's mourning, and so
each stone are from the worlds that Erodius has destroyed, and with Erodius whole again, the stones have lost their powers.
That's really just like a sad moment for me. But thank goodness Papa G was still alive, but it's only a matter of time.
He got a little older, though. He got a little wrinklier.
Yeah.
You can see some of the wrinkles on his face after that.
I know, there you go.
We talked about the main group. We talked about Papa G, Kid, Joe, but we didn't talk about Rosa or tuna sandwich.
Oh yeah. The reason why they couldn't tell that they were in a fake world is because you know how Tuna Sandwich, even though Tuna Sandwich can predict the future, Tuna wasn't able to tell that they were in a fake world because his prediction of the future was starting to fade away.
Like his Dreamstone wasn't working.
It's not that it was fading away.
Okay.
Tuna could.
I thought that's what they said.
Sense danger. When they were in the fantasy world, Tuna's stone can only work if he senses danger. But since they're in the fantasy world, they were never any danger because they won't get hurt or killed. Because it's a fantasy world. You win in your fantasy. And that's where we get the Lex Luthor cosplayer fighting them. Even though he was gigantic, there was no chance that he could beat them. For Rosa, it's very interesting what they did with Rosa when they escaped the fantasy world and they want to take the fight to Phantos. Rosa, she refuses to give up. She went around trying to see who else can help her, and only Rosa could help herself.
She was the only one who wanted to fight, even after they had to recruit back to that part in space, where they didn't have their powers anymore at one point.
The episode title is Spark, something to do with Spark. She was able to give them the spark that they needed.
Yep, Rosa brought back hope when she managed to get a little help from those tiny aliens and snuck onto Erodius and take some of the stones back. It's cute and amazing of what Rosa can do, especially since she's so small. Who's gonna notice her?
Yeah, and Phantos apparently never even noticed. He was just too busy sleeping.
That's so hilarious.
Eating space pizza.
Eating space pizza.
Like he's completely homeless.
I wanted to bring up just briefly how much I really like some of the satire of the superhero genre that's present in season 3 as well. Because I think there's a part where remember the first few episodes when they're recruiting the local heroes in Kid Cosmic to be superheroes for the city and everything. I think they mentioned at one point that they're also able to choose which actors they want to act as them in their cinematic universe.
and one of the actors, I was pointed out to this, and it turns out there's a character who looks like Mac from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends as part of the casting choice.
Oh yeah.
You think Mac could play Kid?
I don't know.
No, Chris Pratt can play Kid Cosmic.
Of course you can say that.
Speaking of Easter egg, you know how I said there was another Waldorf Yonder Easter egg there?
Where is it?
Yep. When I think this guy's name is Jimmy. When he got back to the PPG building, it looked all weakened, looked like he was severely injured. The voice of Jimmy, that was Jack McBrayer, who voiced Wander and Wander Over Yonder.
Wait, what?
Oh, interesting.
Yup, we got Lord Hater, Commander Peepers, Sylvia, and Wander. The gang's all here.
No.
Did you remember Do you remember like the whole plot line of episode 6, like the last episode, where like they're supposed to keep like their powers and like everything that they did a secret, and like the whole like Herodias like about to head towards the Earth and destroy everything. Like people taking
and everybody
took pictures of it, and some people thought it was just CGI or whatever.
Let's be honest, that actually sounds believable.
It was better executed than Don't Look Up, which was also released on Netflix. Funny enough,
got a couple friends who really do not like that movie.
I don't like it either.
What's the Rotten Tomatoes of Don't Look Up?
A few years ago, I wouldn't buy that. A bunch of crap happening in the sky, and people saw it. They don't believe it. I wouldn't buy that. But then, now, seeing how there are people who are denying things even when it's in front of their face, yeah, I definitely buy that narrative that people would think it's fake, a hoax, something about emails.
It's like Boy Who Cried Wolf type of scenario to other people.
Another interesting thing about Kid, when he wanted to make some comic books to publish it, when he saw the letter that came back, the responses from them, for the publishers, and you actually get to see some of the... It's not just that, it's also the names of those publishers, or the ones who wrote the letter, including Craig McCracken and Rob Renzetti. There was another person there too, but I can't recall.
It was a DT.
It's very interesting when Kid was riding his bike and sees the redhead member of the PPG driving by. He thought that the world was fake. It leads me to wonder if that girl is real, and that means the other members of the PPG, it turns out to be some sort of some plumbing people to inspect some restaurants, or power people who inspect some restaurants. It makes you wonder if they're there too. Those other women, Big Boss the dog, or Subquatos the merman.
Yeah, are they real? What if the merman is actually real? He's just not a merman. He's just a regular guy.
Yeah, he's just a regular dude. Just think how hilarious it would be if one day this dude, he drives by Mo's Oasis, eats and just gets something to eat there, and Joe sees him. I wonder how she'll feel then.
Do you think PPG, the Planet Protection Group, the abbreviation for it, PPG, do you think that's a reference to Craig McCracken's Powerpuff Girls?
That is
that's
a
what
reference.
everyone refers to it as the abbreviation
yes.
for.
As if you have to ask. But turns out they're some sort of power company that inspects restaurants like Moe's.
I think they also say stuff like, and the day is saved thanks to the local heroes. I think that's just like a reference to Powerpuff Girls too. The last episode of season 1 is called Kid Cosmic and the Day is Saved.
And then season 2 is Kid Cosmic and the world is saved.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The world is saved thanks to
Kids Cosmic
the
and the
local heroes.
Oh.
Despite everything that happened, they're not being heroes anymore, and they can't tell anything about the world out there. It left on a good note where they don't need the world to know, because they know, and with their satellite fixed on the diner, they were able to call some aliens down to eat at their favorite place, Moe's Oasis.
So that means they're no longer deciding to keep this a secret.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Even if people did saw the aliens, I doubt they'll.
People would just say it's CGI, like they said with them. With Rodius.
I remember a quote from Men in Black where I think Agent J, he said, "A person is smart, people are dumb." And judging from how the people on the internet reacted and say how it's fake and all that, that's a definite good quote there.
A person.
That's a song they should have ended the series on. Is the Men in Black theme song.
Let's Still, I love that song they play in the end. It's very, very upbeat. I can dance to that.
Yeah.
And what's even hilarious is, I'm not sure if Zeth showed this to me or somebody else had a video show to her, but in the end credit, the government people did try to come back in their helicopter, and they got abducted.
Thank goodness.
Oh, really?
It could
So
be the
we
fourth
don't
time
got
that
to worry
happened in the
about,
show.
we don't got to worry about Mo's Oasis, going away anytime soon. And I would love to see more from Craig and more of his work. The same goes for Rob Renzetti and Lauren Faust, apparently. She was part of the show.
I think Lauren Faust works on every McCracken show.
Which, again, feels amazing of how much influence they have on the show and all these superhero elements and references. That really, in fact, it's because of Kid Cosmic, it got me back into Powerpuff Girls, the original show, and surprisingly, DC. It's thanks to them I'm replaying Injustice and reading the comics.
That's great. I'd like to rewatch the original Powerpuff Girls again sometime. I've watched some of the older episodes, and they're great.
Anything is better than what CW is trying to pull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, unfortunately, it's still happening.
Is it still happening, actually?
Hey.
Oh, gosh.
You see the leaked script of the...
It's one of the worst scripts I've ever read. It's like, it's like so bad, the dialogue. Oh my gosh. Like, it's embarrassing.
I mean,
and it was so bad that the CW thought it was bad. So you know it's bad if like the CW thought the script was bad, because CW
how bad
has like the
script
worst
is? They
scripts
should
and
just
worst
cancel it.
content ever.
It says you. I read the script to my cousin, and we both nearly died laughing.
Yeah. But what are some of the lines in it again? Like, I'm trying to think. It's like a lot of teen lingo humor.
MoveOn.org.
Yeah. And also, it's just insulting because they treat the original, like, Powerpuff Girls, like, as fake and whatever. It's just insulting to the original.
That one really hurts, honestly. Like they implied that according to the script, the professor in the CW script is apparently he's a very bad father, and that is
that's just an insulting
to
me,
girls
because
rights to their likeness to
because in the animated series, his father plays a very good role on the girls. He raised them like he is the best, like legit best father figure to those three girls. But
they implied that the cartoonist, which I assume and is supposed to be Craig, they implied that he was racist by whitewashing the girls, and that is just beyond.
That's disgusting, actually.
Craig, I know for a fact that Craig would never.
I think we all know. Sorry, go ahead.
I know for a fact that Craig would never do something as bad as whitewashing.
No.
Oh, never.
And Kid Cosmic is a great example of how much he's pulling in with some of the character and the voice actors. It is like... Oh, another thing I also noticed from Kid Cosmic that I think confirmed is we have another LGBT couple.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, which one?
Like
I'm not sure if you remember them.
It was
the name is Hamburg and
Fry. Yes. He confirmed.
Oh, were they a couple?
No, they always interact with each other, but I guess how close they are together, it's kind of like, I feel that it almost reminds me of Sheriff Lubbs and Deputy Durlin in Gravity Falls. And
yeah, they're not super explicit about it.
I remember now.
They're not.
The two officers, it was only confirmed to be them to being a couple, like, right at the end of the show, right?
Yeah.
They could have pushed Hamburg and Fry more because it's Netflix and it's not by Disney, you know. Netflix is fine with LGBT stuff.
Well, I think Craig implied it, but you know what? I will say, Freiburg. That's I will end on that statement. Freiburg.
Freiburg. That's the little.
I think, I think Kid Cosmic proves to be another really strong McCracken show. Yeah, I think it's overall season 1, 2, and 3. It's an excellent show, I think, and I'm glad that he was able to make the show that he wanted to, and Netflix was able to give him the creative control necessary. Because you don't get to see that a lot with cartoon creators.
Yeah.
And I would love to see more from Craig and everyone else from that show, for that matter. I would love to see the people from that show to expand, work on other shows, and maybe make their own if they can. I would love to see more from them.
Yeah, now streaming is a thing. Anyone, and it's so much easier now to pitch an animated show because there's so many streaming services now trying to compete, to bring new content that people want to watch.
New deal for animation. Just want to bring that back one more time, just to show that we love everything that these people have done, and not only Kid Cosmic, but all the anime shows that are just wonderful and creative. And we hope that the people who make them be treated better. I
agree. I stand for a new deal for animation as well.
So am I.
New deal for animation.
If they're willing to fight for a new deal for animation, then I'm going to join in the bandwagon.
Me too.
Well, with that said, thank you all for being in another magnificent LASM meeting. So far, Craig McCracken truly delivered on a cartoon, and I'm really happy that he's able to do whatever he wants with Kid Cosmic, and I hope one day he might deliver again with another. But who knows?
I think that he's probably not going to make, and I know he's not going to make another feature film after the Powerpuff Girls movie, but I hope that he makes another show if he feels like he has another idea for something, because all of his shows are excellent.
Down for that.
Yeah, me too. Well, if you would like some more of the animation content from us, please sure to drop a like and subscribe, and click on the notification bell so that way you won't miss out on another video. And with that said, I bid you peace. Bye. Say bye, everyone.
See ya.
Bye.
All
Later,
right.
gators.
Later, crocodiles.
Herodias.
Herodias. Woohoo.